Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Evidence for Belief, a series which examines evidence for the existence of God. In this episode, we're going to examine the uniqueness of our planet Earth as evidence of intelligent design. Recently, I watched the first episode of a scientific documentary series on cosmology called The Great Acceleration, and I was shocked at the bald-faced exaggerations and even lies that were presented to prop up an atheistic view of the universe. At one point, the narrator, Dr. Charlene Naik, said, "Planets like our own are everywhere." Shortly after this, Dr. Brad Tucker, an astrophysicist at the Australian National University, boldly proclaimed, "We are not unique. Kepler," that's a space telescope launched in 2009, Kepler told us that there are 20 billion planets like Earth in our galaxy alone. Yes, that's right, folks. According to this video series, there are 20 billion Earth-like planets in our galaxy. But before I explain why atheist scientists are so keen to paint Earth as unremarkable and common, let me firstly reveal how shocking and blatant this exaggeration really is by pointing you to the facts, because the fact is that scientists have not yet discovered a single planet that is even remotely similar to Earth. As of today, scientists have discovered a total of about 4,500 exoplanets. That's planets orbiting other stars. And none of those are confirmed Earth-like planets capable of sustaining life. That is, 0 Earth-like planets. Now, I don't claim to be a mathematician, but even I know that 0 is a long, long, long way from 20 billion. Well, you can easily verify this information on a plethora of scientific websites. For example, NASA has a website called Exoplanet Catalog, and there's another website called Open Exoplanet Catalog. These and many other websites list each confirmed exoplanet, and they provide data concerning the planet's mass, radius, distance from its star, and a whole lot of other characteristics that have been discovered, such as possible atmospheric gases, temperature range, etc. Now, the problem for scientists is that because of the vast distances from Earth of these exoplanets, very few of these planets can actually be viewed, even by our strongest space telescopes, Hubble and Kepler. Almost all of these planets have simply been inferred by observing tiny eccentric perturbations in the movement of their relevant stars caused by the gravitational effect of a probable planet in orbit around that star. So scientists observe the faintest wobble in a star's trajectory, and then they deduce the existence of a planet, estimating its probable mass and distance from the star. 97% of all exoplanets discovered so far have been detected via this method, and they are simply too distant to be viewed at all. They have been deduced, not seen. So this image I showed you a few moments ago is actually an imaginative representation of these probable planets and not a photograph. Now, a handful of exoplanets, however, are close enough to be viewed with our telescopes. But even in these cases, using the most powerful magnification available to us, they are still merely tiny points of light, reflecting their star's brilliance. The planet itself cannot be seen in any detail. In the case of these few planets, spectral analysis of the light being reflected by the planet does enable scientists to estimate the kind of gases that might be in their atmosphere, if they have one at all. And so far, no planets with a breathable Earth-like atmosphere have been discovered. None. Furthermore, the vast majority of exoplanets are located in an orbit outside the habitable zone of their star. They either orbit too near their star and are thus too hot, or too far away from their star and are too cold to be life-permitting. Most exoplanets are also far too massive to sustain life as we know it. So of the 4,500 currently known exoplanets, only 20 are planets that orbit within their star's habitable zone. But even in these cases, almost all of them are either too massive or too small to support human life. And certainly none of them have a verifiable breathable atmosphere, liquid water, or any of the other essential characteristics necessary for life. The Planetary Habitability Laboratory is an impressive looking website run by the University of Puerto Rico in conjunction with data from NASA. It keeps an up-to-date list of potentially habitable planets. Currently, they list 10 exoplanets that they say may be the right distance from their Sun. The only one remotely similar in size to Earth, however, is Proxima Centauri b. It's approximately twice the size and twice the mass of Earth. It has an estimated mean temperature of minus 39 degrees Celsius, and it's tidally locked to its Sun. That means one side is permanently facing the Sun and the other side of the planet is permanently facing away. It's also orbiting a red dwarf star, which is the wrong kind of star, at a distance that would bombard the planet with extreme radiation. With all of that in mind, Wikipedia's entry for Proxima Centauri b states this: its habitability has not been established, although it is unlikely to be habitable since the planet is subject to stellar wind pressures of more than 2,000 times those experienced by Earth. What an extraordinary statement! Its habitability has not been established? Really? I would say its lack of habitability has been firmly established. And yet, this is the best offering that science can dish up as an example of an Earth-like planet. Cosmologists have a long list of characteristics deemed to be essential if a planet is to be life-permitting. These are referred to as life-permitting habitability factors, and all of them have to be in place in order to support biological life. A planet has to be orbiting within the star's habitable zone. It must have liquid water. It must have a magnetic shield to protect it from harmful radiation. It must have a temperature range between 0 and 100 degrees Celsius. It must have a breathable atmosphere. It must have moving tectonic plates, a liquid core. It must be a rocky planet, not a gas planet. It must rotate so that it's not tidally locked with one face permanently facing away from the Sun. It must have an axial tilt for seasons, an elliptical orbit for seasons. It must have a large moon for tidal circulation of nutrients and temperature control. It must have episodic volcanism and outgassing. It must have life-permitting surface pressure, life-permitting rotation rate. It must be orbiting the right kind of star, as there are many star types that would be deadly to life. It must have the presence of carbon-based photochemistry, and it must be the right distance from the galactic core. Too close to the galactic core would be deadly because of radiation. Now, I'll stop there, because as I said, scientists currently propose about 30 essential factors that are necessary for a planet to be habitable and life-permitting. Each of these criteria are essential. Without any one of these, the development and support of biological life would simply not be possible. So far, of the approximately 4,500 exoplanets currently discovered, or at least deduced, none of them come even close to meeting all this criteria. For example, we have not yet discovered a single planet with liquid surface water. We have not yet discovered a single planet with a breathable atmosphere. Not one. They are either too massive, with gravity that would compress us to a messy puddle of sludge, or too tiny to have an atmosphere. They're either frigid wastelands or raging infernos, too close to their sun or too distant. At best, they are lifeless lumps of rock or swirling gas giants with poisonous atmospheres and crushing gravities. This is a vastly different picture to the barefaced exaggerations and even lies of some scientists that Earth-like planets are everywhere in our galaxy. So let me ask this question. How do scientists like Dr. Bragg Tucker get away with claiming that there are, and I quote, 20 billion planets like Earth in our galaxy alone? Well, the answer is that the 20 billion figure is an estimate of the existence of any kind of planet based on observable evidence. Let me explain that. It's estimated that up to 90% of stars in our galaxy have at least one planet. Given that our Milky Way galaxy has about 200 billion stars, scientists therefore extrapolate that our galaxy possibly contains about 180 billion planets. Scientists then make a wild guess that about a quarter of these may be orbiting the right kind of star at the right distance, thus arriving at the figure of roughly 20 to 25 billion planets. But that figure is not based on any solid evidence. It's purely based on theoretical percentages pulled out of thin air. For example, an article on the National Radio Astronomy Observatory website in 2014 made this optimistic claim. Using the Kepler telescope, it's estimated that 22% of Sun-like stars contain Earth-sized planets orbiting their stars in their habitable zone. This results in an estimate of about 20 billion Earth-like planets in our galaxy. Well, the mention of the Kepler telescope gives the appearance, doesn't it, of hard science based upon observable evidence. But notice the words estimated and estimate in that quote. You see, the fact is that all the actual evidence, all the observable data we've been able to collect to date simply contradicts these estimates. As we've already seen, none of the exoplanets so far discovered is even remotely like Earth, as far as we've been able to tell. Significantly, it's only in popular media and documentaries produced for mass consumption where this kind of blatant exaggeration is foisted upon the general public, and it's never backed up by a single example from observable evidence. Contrary to these hugely optimistic and imaginative speculations, there are some scientists who are more grounded and committed to studying the actual evidence. Probability estimates have been made to ascertain the likelihood of all 30 habitability factors that are necessary for life coming together in the same planet by pure chance. And it turns out that there aren't enough estimated planets in the entire universe for an Earth-like planet to have evolved by chance. For example, a recent study by astrophysicist Dr. Erik Zachrisson from Uppsala University, Sweden, used a computer modelling program to simulate the universe's evolution following a supposed Big Bang. And the modelling estimated that the probability of an Earth-like planet with all these habitability factors in place evolving by pure chance is 1 in 700 quintillion. Now, this is essentially zero in statistical terms. His landmark study was published in the Astrophysical Journal, and it completely destroyed the exaggerated claims of atheistic scientists who claim that Earth-like planets are everywhere. So, why are atheists and evolutionists so keen to claim that Earth is not unique? The reason is that if they can show that planets like Earth can evolve purely by chance and in great numbers via chance processes, then the necessity for a supernatural creator is done away with. Effectively, atheistic scientists are saying to the general public, nothing to see here, folks. There's nothing special about the Earth. Mother Nature is throwing up planets like ours all over the place. There's no God who's created a special home for us. Increasingly, however, their deliberately misleading claims are being refuted by the evidence of hard science. The Earth is unique. It is a shining jewel in the vast bleakness of the universe. It is a miraculous place, a safe haven in the harshness of our beautiful but deadly universe. The Earth stands alone as a work of wonder with a statistically impossible confluence of habitability factors that absolutely scream out that there is an intelligent, all-powerful creator. It's frustrating that atheistic scientists repeatedly get away with making their outrageous claims via popular media. And sadly, the vast majority of viewers just lap it up as one more piece of evidence confirming their belief that we are all just the product of brute chance. But the truth is that the more we discover about the universe, the more we realise how special and miraculously unique our planet really is. In 2015, science writer John Horgan wrote an article in Scientific American. He wrote, "The more scientists investigate our universe, the more improbable our existence seems. If you define a miracle as an infinitely improbable event, then our existence, you might say, is a miracle. Scientists try in vain to hand-wave our improbability away. My own intuitions, however, keep me from ruling out the possibility of supernatural creation." Sir Isaac Newton, 1643 to 1727, who formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation, was convinced that the universe's obvious intelligent design and the Earth's unique place within it was proof of God's existence. And he stated, "This most beautiful system of the sun, planets and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent being. This being governs all things, not as the soul of the world, but as Lord over all. And on account of his dominion, he is wont to be called Lord God or universal ruler. The supreme God is a being eternal, infinite, and absolutely perfect." Dr. Arno Penzias, the winner of the Nobel Prize for Science for his discovery of cosmic microwave background radiation, wrote the following: "Astronomy leads us to a unique event, a universe which was created out of nothing, one with the very delicate balance needed to provide exactly the right conditions required to permit life, and one which has an underlying, one might say, supernatural plan." I think he's absolutely right. There is something supernatural, something quite miraculous about our unique and wonderfully designed planet and this astonishing universe in which it sits. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For more information, you can check out my books, which are on my website, smartfaith.net, where you can also subscribe to my weekly blog. Thanks for watching episode 10. Please check out episode 11, and in the meantime, have a great day.